Good afternoon, students. You are welcome to our e-learning class. My name is Dr. Mrs. Angela Oledibenwakama, your biology teacher in SS2. Today's topic is tissue and supporting systems. Under this topic, tissue and supporting tissues, we will concentrate on that of animals. Today, we will look at skeleton. What are the objectives of the study? He said by the end of the class, the students should be able to, number 1, define skeleton. Number 2, outline and discuss the forms and components of skeleton. Number 3, state the differences between bones and cartilages. Number 4, explain the types of skeleton. Introduction. Plants and animals need tissues to enable them carry out life processes. What are these life processes? All the characteristics of living things, example, movement, respiration. For example, without the various bones and tissues, vertebrates, that is animals with backbone, may not be able to stand, respire, move, and carry out other life processes. What then is skeleton? Skeleton is the bony framework of the body, which provides support, shape, and a protection to the soft tissues and organs in animals. Without skeleton, animals will not be able to move around. They will not be able to carry out the life processes. There are 3 forms of skeleton or skeletal materials found in animals. These 3 forms are cuticles, bones, and the cartilages. Cuticles. We say the cuticles is composed of a protein called chitin. Chitin is a thin waterproof layer of wax. Chitin is a non-living substance. Hence, animals with this type of skeletal material can only grow by molting or adhesis. What is this molting or adhesis? I said in this process, an organism shed off the old skeleton and put on a new one. Cortical is an exoskeleton. It is located externally on the body. Examples of organisms with this type of skeletal material are mainly the arthropods. And you know the examples of arthropods, like insects, crabs, scorpion, and prawn. All the arthropods, they contain this type of skeletal materials. Another one is the bones. Remember, we said we have 3 forms and components of skeleton. The first one was the cortical. The second one is the bones. Bone is a tissue and a major component of vertebral skeleton. It consists of living bone cells. These living bone cells, we call it osteocytes. It contains protein fiber, which we call collagen, and the minerals, mainly calcium phosphate and also calcium carbonates. The mineral, in bracket, non-living component, is made up of 2/3 of the mass of the bone. As a result, a bone is a stronger and more rigid tissue than cartilage. A bone is usually consists of a hard outer layer, which we call shaft, and a spongy or hollow cavity filled with bone marrow. Examples of organisms which have bones are mainly the vertebrates. Example, the bony fishes, toads, lizards, and mammals. We are also included in the example. Of course, you know that vertebrates are animals with backbone. The third component of skeleton is the cartilages. What is this cartilage? We say cartilage is a tissue found in the skeleton of complex vertebrates. It consists of living cells, which is normally called chondroblasts. It consists of carbohydrates and protein fibers. It is a tough and flexible tissue. Cartilage is a tough and flexible tissue that has great tensile strength. It acts as a shock absorber, cushioning the effect of bones moving against bone during movement. It acts as a shock absorber, cushioning the effect of bone moving against bone when we move. Examples of organisms which possess cartilage are cartilagenous fishes like sharks, rails, and the mammals generally. Mammals generally have this type of skeleton, this form of skeleton. This cartilage we are talking about is of different types. In mammal, we have 3 of them. The first one is the hyaline cartilage. The second one is the fibro-cartage. And the third one is the elastic cartilage. What is hyaline cartilage and where is it found in the body? We said this is found in trachea and bronchi, which keeps them open. It is also found in the surface of the movable joints and in the protruding part of the nose, which supports it. This is our nose. What we are seeing at this protruding part of our nose is the cartilage. In every movable joint, there is a cartilage. The member joint is where 2 bones meet and articulate. So there is joint in between, there is cartilage in between the joints, help in cushioning the effects of bone when we move from one place to another. That type of cartilage is what we call hyaline cartilage. Yet we have another type of cartilage which we call fibro-cartage. This particular type of cartilage is tougher than the hyaline cartilage. And this particular one is found in a disc between the small bones. That is the vertebra of the vertebral column. Where is the vertebra of the vertebral column? We are talking about this, our backbone. So this fibro-cartilage is found in this, our backbone. Remember, our backbone is called the vertebral column. Each one of that bone is called vertebra. In between each of that bone, we have joints. The type of cartilage in between that joint is what we call fibro-cartage. And then we have the last one, which is the elastic cartilage. This particular elastic cartilage is found in the external ear. This is our external ear. We call it pinna. That is where it is found. And then it is also found in the epiglottis. Differences between bones and cartilages. What are the differences between these bones and cartilages? Remember, they are all forms and components of skeleton. Number one, under bone, we say that the bone is made up of living and non-living cells. This our bone is made up of living and non-living cells. But this cartilage we talked about is made up of mainly living cells. So there is no living cells on it. Another one is that bone is not flexible, especially in adults. Bone is not flexible, especially in adults. But cartilage is very flexible, both in adults and young ones. Cartilage is very flexible, both in adults and young ones. Number 3, bone is made up of hard substance. Bone is made up of hard substance, while cartilage is made up of soft substance. Another one, bone can never be replaced by a cartilage. Bone can never be replaced by a cartilage. But under cartilage, we say it can easily be replaced by bone. If you look at that number 4 point, if mistakenly the cartilage replace bone, that means the person will be having problem and pain in that particular bone all the time. That is why we say bone can never be replaced by cartilage. But cartilage can easily be replaced by bone. Number 5 says that bone is made up of mainly mineral salts, while cartilage is not made up of mainly mineral salts. Yes, bones are made up of mainly mineral salts, but cartilages are not made up of mineral salts. Number 6 says that bone is a stronger and a more rigid tissue. A stronger and a more rigid tissue, while cartilage is not so strong, but it is a flexible tissue. We have different types of skeleton. The first one we discussed was forms and components of skeleton. Now we are looking at types of skeleton. There are 3 main types of skeleton. What are these 3 types? They are hydrostatic skeleton, exoskeleton, and endoskeleton. Hydrostatic skeleton. Hydrostatic skeleton can also be called fluid skeleton. Hydrostatic skeleton is a type of skeleton possessed by soft-bodied animals. For example, earthworms and the sea anemones. They have fluid pressure to provide support. Fluid is secreted to fill the space in the body. The fluid presses against the muscular body wall, causing the muscles to contract, exerting pressures against the fluid. This helps to maintain the shape and form of the animal. Exoskeleton is one of the type of skeleton. Exoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is found outside the body of some animals. Any hard structure which gives support and form the framework of the body of the animal is located externally on the animal, constitutes the exoskeleton. I said exoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is found outside the body of some animals. It also means that any hard structure which gives shape, which gives form, and also form the framework of the body of the animal, located externally on that particular animal, constitute the exoskeleton of that particular animal. It may cover the external surface of the body, such as in insects and many other arthropods, where it protects the animal against desiccation in the dry habitat, where it prevents the animal against drying up. It also serves as a hydrophile against wetting in aquatic habitats. The shell in mollusca, tortoise, and turtle are also of this type of skeleton. The shell of mollusca, tortoise, and turtle, they are also example of exoskeleton. Tortoise and turtle have both exoskeleton and the endoskeleton. I want you to note that. Tortoise and the turtle, they have both exo and the endoskeleton. Endoskeleton. Endoskeleton is the type of skeleton which is found inside the body of animals. Endoskeleton exists in bony or cartilagenous skeleton of fishes, toad, lizards, birds, and the mammals. Endoskeleton in vertebrates is made up of cartilages and bone. Exoskeleton in vertebrates is made up of cartilages and bone. Endoskeleton in mammals include the skull, vertebral column or our backbone, the ribs, and the bones of the forearm and the hind arms. Endoskeleton in mammals include the skull, the backbone, our ribs, and the bones of the forearms and hind limbs, our legs and our hands. With this, we will be stopping here for today. In our next class, we pick it up from there. But before I go for today, I want you to read through your notes before you sleep today and make sure you understand the full meaning of skeleton, the forms and components of skeleton, the type of skeleton, and their functions. Some students, when they ask them to identify the forms and components of skeleton, they will be talking about the types of skeleton. There are two different things. The forms and components of skeleton is the cuticle, the bones, and the cartilages. While in the other hand, the type of skeleton is the hydrostatic skeleton, the exoskeleton, and the endoskeleton. With this, we have come to the end of the class. I want you to do this assignment. What are the functions of the cartilage? What are the functions of the cartilage? Number 2, outline the forms and the component of skeleton. Outline the forms and the component of the skeleton. Thank you. See you again in our next class. Bye for now.